Ever heard a musician and thought, whoa, like they're playing more than just notes. They're telling stories with their instrument.
Mm.
That's how I felt when I first discovered Sadao Watanabe.
Yeah.
We're diving into the career of a true musical icon today. Someone who not only mastered jazz, but brought together sounds and cultures from around the world.
Yeah.
To give you an idea how big this guy is, we've got excerpts from an entire podcast dedicated to him.
That's right. Watanabe's career is remarkable, spanning over 70 years.
Wow.
He witnessed and influenced so many changes in the world of music, from post-war Japan's jazz scene all the way to becoming a global icon.
Yeah.
Today, we'll uncover what makes his music so special and explore how he built these incredible bridges between seemingly different worlds.
Okay, let's rewind to the beginning. Origin story vibes.
Okay.
What's fascinating is that even though his dad was a musician, young Sadao didn't jump right into saxophone.
Right.
He actually started with the clarinet.
That's right. And understanding the context of post-war Japan is crucial here. American music, especially jazz, was filtering in through radio broadcasts.
Oh, wow.
Offering a glimpse into a different world. Imagine that for a young musician.
Yeah.
It was a revelation. At 18, Watanabe even convinced his dad to buy him a used clarinet.
Wow. Talk about dedication.
Yeah.
I can picture him in those early days, honing his craft, soaking up those jazz influences.
Mm-hmm.
And by the 50s, he's right in the heart of Tokyo's vibrant jazz scene. Even playing with renowned artists like Toshiko Akiyoshi.
Wow.
But then, boom, a scholarship to Berklee College of Music in Boston in 1962. That must have been a huge leap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just musically, but culturally, too.
Right, absolutely. Back then, for a Japanese musician to land at Berklee was a major event.
Yeah.
Think about it. Berklee is a melting pot of musical styles.
Right.
And this is where Watanabe's musical journey takes a fascinating turn.
Okay.
It's where he encounters Brazilian rhythms, bossa nova samba,
Wow.
and incorporates those into his jazz vocabulary. He's not just playing bebop anymore. He's fusing these sounds in ways that were quite innovative at the time.
Most musicians who hit global stardom ride that wave touring the world. Maybe even settling in a music hub like New York or LA.
Yeah.
But what does Watanabe do? He chooses to return to Japan. Why? It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It does, but it speaks volumes about his character and his commitment to nurturing the future of jazz in Japan.
Okay.
He becomes the director at the Yamaha Institute of Popular Music, shaping the next generation of Japanese musicians.
Wow.
And get this, even while teaching, he's leading his own quartet that blends bebop with Brazilian rhythms and even elements of pop.
Oh, wow.
It's 1970s fusion before fusion was even a big thing.
So it's not just about mastering jazz. It's about sharing that knowledge and creating something new and exciting.
Right.
He's building bridges between Japan and the U.S., between traditional jazz and these new global influences.
Exactly. And what's even more fascinating is that even after achieving international fame and establishing himself as a respected educator, Watanabe didn't stop there.
Wait, there's more. Okay, you've definitely got my attention. What did he do next?
Remember how he started with a second-hand clarinet thanks to his supportive dad? Well, in 1995, he decides to pay it forward in a big way. He establishes the Sadao Watanabe Scholarship.
Wow. So it's not just teaching at a prestigious institute. He's going even further to support young musicians. But I have to ask, what kind of impact did this scholarship actually have?
It's been hugely influential in shaping the Japanese jazz scene.
Okay.
Many recipients have gone on to successful careers.
Wow.
But it's not just about launching careers. It's about fostering a love and appreciation for jazz.
That's incredible. And on top of all of this, didn't you mention something about photography?
Oh, yes. Watanabe is a man of many passions.
Okay.
He's published 6 photography books, mostly focused on nature and travel. It seems like wherever he goes, he finds ways to express his creativity, whether it's through music or visuals.
It's amazing how his creative energy flows in so many directions.
Yeah.
So we've got this incredible musician, a dedicated teacher, and now we're adding photographer to the mix.
It makes you wonder how he does it all right.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of what makes him so fascinating, his endless curiosity and desire to explore.
Yeah.
And that in itself tells us something about his music.
Okay. So we've established he's incredibly talented and has had a massive impact on the music world.
Right.
But for someone like me, who's only just discovering him,
Yeah.
what does his music actually sound like? How would you describe it?
That's a great question. Let's unpack that in our next segment, because when it comes to Sadao Watanabe, hearing is believing.
Right. I'm all ears.
Okay.
I'm all ears.
Right.
Paint me a sonic picture of Sadao Watanabe's music. What makes it so unique?
Well, it's not just one thing. It's the way he weaves together different musical threads. Imagine the energy and improvisation of bebop.
Okay.
Those fast, complex melodies. But then you add in the warmth and sway of Brazilian rhythms, like bossa nova and samba. It creates this feeling of constant movement, like a musical conversation between cultures.
So it's more than just a fusion of genres. It's like a dialogue happening within the music itself.
Exactly. And his saxophone playing is the voice that guides that conversation.
Okay.
It's technically brilliant. I mean, the guy can fly up and down the scales with ease, but it's also incredibly expressive.
Right.
There's this warmth and soulfulness to his tone that draws you in, regardless of whether you're a jazz aficionado or just a casual listener.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand why he's so beloved. He's clearly a master of his instrument, but he's not just showing off. There's real heart in his playing. Can you give me an example of a specific song or album where I can hear this magic happening?
Absolutely. Let's talk about his album Round Trip from 1970.
Okay.
This is a prime example of his fusion style, and it features some jazz heavyweights like Corea and DeJohnette.
Wow.
When you listen to a track like Brazilian Farewell, you can hear how he seamlessly blends bebop phrasing with those infectious Brazilian grooves. The rhythm section is tight and energetic, and Watanabe's sax just soars above it all, telling a story with every note.
Okay, Round Trip. Got it. I'm adding it to my list. But I'm also curious about his evolution as a musician. We talked about how post-war Japan played a role in shaping his early influences. But what was it like for him to actually be in the heart of that era's jazz scene?
It must have been exhilarating. Post-war Japan was going through this period of rapid change, and jazz was a symbol of modernity and freedom. It was filtering in through American radio broadcasts and records brought back by soldiers.
Wow.
And it captivated a whole generation of young Japanese musicians.
So Watanabe wasn't just playing jazz, he was living it, breathing it, absorbing everything he could from this exciting new sound.
Yes. And remember, he started on clarinet, not saxophone.
Right.
That shows a real dedication to the craft, a willingness to learn and adapt.
Yeah.
He sought out mentors, like the incredible Toshiko Akiyoshi, who was already making waves in the jazz world.
It's amazing how he went from playing secondhand clarinet to sharing the stage with jazz legends. His story is really a testament to hard work, passion, and a deep love for the music.
Yeah.
But, speaking of sharing the stage, we haven't talked much about his time at Berklee. What was it like for him to go from the bustling Tokyo jazz scene to the halls of this prestigious music school?
Well, it was a culture shock, for sure, but also a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Berklee in the early 60s was a melting pot of musical styles and influences.
Right.
It's where he encountered Latin jazz,
Wow.
explored different compositional techniques, and honed his improvisation skills.
So it wasn't just about learning theory or technique.
Yeah.
It was about expanding his horizons and embracing new musical possibilities.
Exactly. And you can hear that influence in his music.
Okay.
It's not just the Brazilian rhythms, it's the way he approaches melody, harmony, and improvisation. There's a sense of freedom and experimentation that's deeply rooted in his Berklee experience.
It's like he took the best of both worlds, the discipline and tradition of Japanese music, and the free-flowing improvisational spirit of American jazz.
Yeah.
And created something entirely new and exciting.
You got it. And that's what makes him such a fascinating figure.
Yeah.
He's a bridge builder, not just between musical genres, but between cultures as well.
This is what I love about music. The way it can transport you to different places and times and connect you with people from all walks of life.
And Watanabe's music does that masterfully.
Yeah.
It's a sonic passport to different worlds, a reflection of his own incredible journey as a musician and a human being.
Speaking of journeys, we touched on his decision to return to Japan to teach.
Right.
But I'm really curious to learn more about the impact he had on the next generation of Japanese musicians. What was his teaching style like?
Well, from what I've gathered, he was a very encouraging and supportive teacher. He believed in nurturing each student's individual talent rather than imposing a strict style or method.
Yeah.
He emphasized the importance of listening, of being open to new ideas, and of finding your own voice within the music.
It sounds like he was more than just a teacher. He was a mentor, guiding his students on their own musical journeys.
Absolutely. And that mentorship extended beyond the classroom.
Okay.
Remember the Sadao Watanabe scholarship?
Right.
That was a way for him to continue supporting young musicians even after they left the institute.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about financial aid, it was about providing opportunities, connections, and encouragement.
So he was really invested in ensuring the future of jazz in Japan.
He was. And his legacy continues to grow through the countless musicians he inspired, both in Japan and around the world.
You know, we've talked a lot about his impact on the jazz world, but what about Watanabe the man? What kind of person is he outside of the music?
By all accounts, he's a very humble and down-to-earth person, despite his global fame.
Yeah.
He's known for his warm personality and his genuine love of connecting with people.
Okay.
And remember those 6 photography books?
Right.
That tells you something about his curiosity and his appreciation for beauty in all its forms.
He sounds like a true Renaissance man, a master musician, dedicated teacher, a passionate photographer, and by all accounts, a genuinely kind and generous person.
He really is. And that spirit of generosity and openness shines through in his music. It's music that invites you in, makes you feel welcome, and takes you on a journey of discovery.
This has been such a fascinating dive into the world of Sadao Watanabe. I'm already feeling inspired to go listen to his music and learn more about his life.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious to hear your final thoughts on his legacy and his impact on the world of music.
Well, I think Sadao Watanabe's story is a reminder that music has the power to transcend borders, to connect us across cultures, and to inspire us to embrace new possibilities.
Yeah.
He's a true musical innovator, but more importantly, he's a bridge builder, someone who uses his art to create understanding and connection.
Beautifully said. And on that note, let's take a quick break and then come back to share some final recommendations for our listeners who are ready to embark on their own Sadao Watanabe journey. Welcome back. We've covered so much ground in our deep dive into the life and music of Sadao Watanabe. From his early days in post-war Japan, his transformative time at Berklee, to his dedication to teaching and fostering the next generation of jazz musicians, it's clear that we're dealing with a remarkable individual.
He truly is an exceptional figure. And as we wrap up our exploration, I think it's important to emphasize how these different facets of his life, the musician, the teacher, the mentor, the photographer, they all intertwine and inform each other.
That's a great point. It's like his creativity flows through all these different channels and they enrich and enhance one another. It's not just about being good at many things. It's about the connections between them.
Exactly. And you can hear those connections in his music. There's a sense of openness, of curiosity, of finding beauty in unexpected places. Just like his photography captures those fleeting moments of wonder.
So for our listeners who are now intrigued and want to dive into the music of Sadao Watanabe, where should they start? What are some essential albums or tracks that really capture his essence?
Well, we've already talked about Round Trip, which is a fantastic showcase of his fusion style. But if you're looking for something with a more laid-back West Coast vibe, I highly recommend his 1980 album, California Shower.
Okay.
It's full of beautiful melodies, intricate harmonies, and that signature blend of jazz Brazilian rhythms, and a touch of pop sensibility.
Ooh, California Shower sounds perfect for a sunny afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm adding that to my list. But what about something for the jazz purists out there? Is there an album where we can hear him really digging into those bebop roots?
Of course. For a taste of his bebop mastery, you can't go wrong with his 1975 album, Parker's Mood.
Okay.
It's a collection of Charlie Parker compositions, and Watanabe's renditions are simply sublime. You can hear his deep respect for the tradition, but he also brings his own unique voice and phrasing to these classic tunes.
So whether you're a seasoned jazz enthusiast or just starting to explore the genre, there's a Sadao Watanabe album out there for you.
Yeah.
But beyond the albums, is there anything else we should check out? We keep mentioning those photography books, and I have to admit, I'm really curious to see his work.
Well, if you're ever in Japan, keep an eye out for his exhibitions. His photos often capture the beauty of nature, the serenity of landscapes, and the energy of city life. It's like a visual counterpart to his music, another way of expressing his artistic vision.
It sounds like his photography is more than just a hobby. It's a genuine passion that feeds his creativity. And that brings us back to the core of what we've been discussing. The idea that Sadao Watanabe is more than just a saxophonist.
Right.
He's a true artist, a cultural ambassador, and someone who uses his talents to connect people and inspire us to see the world in new ways.
I couldn't have said it better myself. His story is a testament to the power of music to transcend borders, to create bridges between cultures, and to remind us of the beauty and diversity of the human experience.
It's been such a pleasure diving into his world. From that secondhand clarinet to a global stage, Sadao Watanabe's journey is one of dedication, passion, and an unwavering belief in the power of music.
And his legacy continues to resonate today. Through his recordings, his teaching, his mentorship, and his enduring spirit, he's left an indelible mark on the world of jazz and beyond.
So to our listeners, if you're looking for music that is both sophisticated and approachable, that will transport you to different worlds and touch your soul, then I urge you to explore the incredible world of Sadao Watanabe. You won't be disappointed.
And remember, his story is a reminder that no matter what your passion is, whether it's music photography or anything else that sets your soul on fire, embrace it, nurture it, and share it with the world. You never know how you might inspire others to do the same.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the music playing.